So good morning from Kings Canyon. We're up today and out because we're going to be doing the Kings Canyon rim walk. It's 6 kilometers. Now in the summer, you're not supposed to do this before or after 9 a.m. They actually close it if it's over, I think, like 35 degrees. But in this season, it's a balmy 18. It's actually like jumper weather to do the walk today, which is perfect.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, it's beautiful conditions. I heard not very windy at all and really quiet. The car park is basically empty today, so it's going to be a nice relaxing walk. Plus, everyone seems to do things very early in the day here, so there's people actually who just finished their walk while we're rocking up after our buffet breakfast this morning.
Yeah, it's a very chilled day. Just the 6k loop, and we might do, I think there's another small loop you can do that's only like 2k we might do after, but I'm really excited.
Yeah, this is pretty cool, isn't it? This is one of the Australian bucket list items.
I think they even say it's one of the best hikes in Australia.
Do they really?
Period, yeah.
Wow, yeah. First part of the hike today is an ascent up this staircase just to get the blood flowing, but it doesn't seem like we have to go too far, and these paths are very well maintained. Might actually get a bit of sunlight on these very white legs today. This is the first time in a year that they have been out in the sun. That is a problem with the motorbike suit, is you go through all these hot sunny countries and you come back looking the same.
I like your white pasty legs.
So much so you've got to pay yourself. This is our first real view of the canyon, and you can quite clearly see it is indeed a canyon, but it's super impressive with that wall of red rock there. You can see all of the layers of sediment there, and even the path that we're walking on now have got like water ripples on the stones like they've been fossilized. That's the second walk where you can walk into the canyon through the trees, which we might do a bit later. And just on the brow there, you can see there's a little footbridge. You can barely see tiny little stick people standing on there. So I guess we'll head up here and we'll walk along the canyon. But what a beautiful day, and a perfect way to spend it. These are quite a nice provision, these emergency call devices, basically a satellite phone I think, with a first aid kit and a defibrillator. I'm surprised we didn't see more of these on the roadside, you know, when you go a couple of 100 kilometres without seeing anything. But we're on the other side of the canyon, and you can see quite far off into the horizon there, pretty flat in that direction. I think that's the way we came in last night in the dark, but we didn't actually see anything. But yeah. Definitely that direction was the sandpit.
It looks like a sandpit.
It does, it was.
So we've been hiking for probably around another 10 minutes, and we've got to a little bit of a higher elevation and came into view of these gorgeous red rocks.
Actually really interesting when you get close up to them. From the bottom, they just look like a wall of red, but close up, you can see the texture of them. The colour, they're not just the same colour. That one is sort of sat on there, almost looks like a sandwich of some description with like layers of ingredients in the middle. But brilliant that we've been able to get up here and see them quite close up, because I think you get a better experience than just seeing them from down there. Right, let's press on. I think we're going to follow this path along the ridge now. Ancient sand dunes. You can see examples of cross-bedding in the beehive-like domes on the top of the range. They are evidence that Mereenie sandstone was originally sand dunes. Cross-bedding is very common in rocks that originated as deserts and sand dunes. The wind deposits sand in different directions over a period of time. Cross-bedding can also be seen in tidal environments, but the layers are much thinner. Wow. Yeah, I mean, that one looks like a wave there. This is actually this is a great section of the hike today. I think we're actually going to walk over it now as we make our way through that little crack in the rocks there. Very glad that we didn't miss this one.
Yeah, it's quite spectacular, really.
I think there's a few places you just have to say, yeah, definitely go in there. And and this one has lived up to the hype for sure.
I can't get over the colours. I think that's what's amazing me the most.
I think so, yeah.
It's not red, it's like proper orange.
It almost looks like it's glowing, like it's just been char grilled or something, or out the fire. Now the route is taking us right through the rocks. Can just about squeeze through here. Wow, there's like a little pyramid of rocks in the background there.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
You really don't see that from the roadside, do you? To be honest, I thought it was just going to be like a bit of a rock walk around a canyon, but it's a lot more than that too.
So we've just stopped, we've been on trail for about 45 minutes and we've just stopped for some water, and we haven't stopped in the shade purposely because it would be nice to be a little bit more tan on our Australia trip. So we're going to have 5 minutes here and then continue on. I've been blown away by this hike so far. Like Sean said before, I didn't really have much estimations of it because we just said that we were going to do it and didn't really look a lot into it, and sometimes that is the best way to go into a hike, and then you're just blown away by the scenery that you're seeing. But Sean and I have talked about these before. These are the Nalgaline water bottles that we carry with us everywhere. You can also use hot water in them, which is awesome, and they're not insulated, but they do quite a good job of keeping the water cold. So cheers.
Right, while we're having a drink, I spotted movement on the rocks. I think it's a little wallaby. I don't know if he's still there. We've rushed over to see him. Was it this one he was?
Yeah, it was here.
He was just on the rocks there. There he is. Look at him.
Oh my gosh.
Is it a wallaby?
I don't know what that is, Sean.
I think it is. He's just on his side. Or it could be like a paddamel. I don't know if they have them right here, but there he is.
He's quite beautiful. He's got
He is
different
actually.
colouring than the ones that we've seen. He's got a kind of a stripe to him.
He might be a posh wallaby.
He's going to go to sleep.
Going back to sleep.
He's looking right at you, Sean.
This is what they do, isn't it? They just like freeze and stare you out. Can clearly see you. You need to be red.
I think he's a rock wallaby.
Is that a thing? Is it a
Yeah,
rock wallaby?
a rock wallaby.
What makes you think that?
I think he just looks like someone who'd like AC/DC.
Right, we're at the edge of the canyon. The wallaby has hopped off back into his cave, I think. I can just about see the viewpoint there from the bottom walk there, but pretty beautiful viewpoint from here. I think when we get to the other edge, we'll be able to see the whole canyon from that viewpoint.
So we are at the bridge, and this is a big sandstone crevasse underneath here. And I think it takes us over into a viewpoint, so it's definitely worth going for it.
So we saw some locals doing this, and we thought we'd join them.
It is sheer. It's like a piece of paper flat down.
We
to the
did check
bottom.
it from the other side though. It is a solid piece of rock, as some of them have got some nasty overhangs.
Yeah. Like some of the overhangs are as thin as like a countertop of rock, but this one's okay. And I do think my fear of heights is cured.
Right, we're on the other side of the canyon now, and from here you get a good vantage of all like these sand dune bumps, and that's how they were formed. Apparently they are just they were like squares or like little cracks, and they've just basically eroded around the edges and made all these domes. But it looks like what the surface of Mars would probably look like, something like this.
It does, and it's starting to feel as hot as Mars at the moment.
Yeah, it is getting pretty hot, isn't it? But yeah, can you imagine what it's like in peak summer here?
No, it would be unbearable, and there's a reason why there's those precautions in place, because there's hardly any shade.
And I think it said you needed 3 litres of water per person.
Yeah.
Which yeah, you would soon get through that in the hotter temperatures.
All right, should we keep going?
There are a few water sources around here.
There are.
There's actually a bit of a stream down there, a creek, which has got a bit of water in. Whether this will be here in the peak of summer, I doubt very much, but there's plenty of water around these spots. But in the creek, it is shaded, so maybe it lasts a little bit longer there. We've made it to the other side of the canyon now, and what a fantastic view of the sheer walls of this part of the canyon. It is spectacular to see. Interesting fact is that the rock underneath here is actually like white limestone, but as the rainwater comes and soaks up the iron oxide, it leaves like this red tinge deposit on the surface of the rock. So if you scrape them off, you'll see that it's white, or perhaps over there where you see more recent sections of the wall that have collapsed and fallen down there. There is some big pieces there, so perhaps I shouldn't stand this close to the edge. They reveal a white part of the wall, and then eventually the rain will wash down with the iron oxide and they'll be red again. But what a fantastic place this Kings Canyon is. Spectacular. Last little bit of the trail here, we can actually see the bike from just around the corner there. It's nice to get back in the shade because even though it's not so hot today, temperature was still getting really warm. So happy to cool down in the shade. But what a fantastic walk this Kings Canyon has been. Doesn't take too long, I think around about probably 4 to 6 hours, something like that. And it's not too strenuous at all, really. Really well kept path and loads of viewpoints as well. So I've had a great day walking around Kings Canyon.
And we are back in the car park. That hike was epic. Really one of the best short hikes I think we've ever done. It was just so beautiful and so interesting with all of the rocks. But now we're going to head back to the hotel and get some lunch.
We're back at the caravan park here, and I thought it'd be a good opportunity as we've got the afternoon to check the filters on Storm, check the air filters. We've had quite a few dust cloud rides on the past few days on these outback roads, so just going to have a look. Not much I can do other than tap them out at the moment, but that might be better than nothing. Again, we've got the SBV toolkit here. A little piece that you might not remember to pack is to take this airbox cover off. You actually need an extended bit to get this screw here, which is quite deeply embedded, but SBV have got that covered as well, so you really don't need to think about your toolkit with this. You just have everything you need. But I'm not anticipating that they're going to be that dirty, but we've got a service in about 2,000 kilometers after the next stretch of rough road, and I'll probably get them to put in some fresh filters as well. Wow, it's spotless. Sure, it's got a bit of muck in there, but look at those. As good as new, them. It's the end of the day now, and it's the end of our Kings Canyon experience. We're fortunate enough to have 2 nights here, so one more sleep tonight, and then tomorrow we'll be heading off again. But the weather has been perfect here, as I'm sure it is most nights here, to be honest. But yeah, watching the sunset behind us over the mountain there is pretty special, isn't it?
Yeah, the sunset really brings out the colours, the vivid reds, and then you kind of just watch as the sky changes from bright blue and then turns into like a purple, a pink, and then slowly turns into darkness, and then that's even better because that's when all the stars come out. It's such a special spot.
You get another show, don't you, with the star show.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're just gonna carry on walking around here for the next hour or so, watch the sun go down, see the stars come out, and then we'll head to bed and get some sleep. Tomorrow we've got 300 kilometers to ride. We're actually heading to the Uluru area, which is going to be such an iconic place to be. It's going to be pretty special, I say.
It is. I'm really looking forward to it. I can't believe the experience we've had here in the Outback, but we've got a lot more to experience as well, so no need to get sad just yet. See you all in the next episode as we make our way to Watarrka.